We have our C's, so we can't use Sir Scratch's order. Okay, he's going to use the order. I mean, that is one of the best targets we're going to get for Artis. Although, to be fair, it's probably just better to hit it down to 6 and seize it this way. Even though I really wanted to Artis that, this is probably better. And he really doesn't have any options. GG. Today I wanted to play some tactics with some of the new soldier and tactics support that came out in the last patch. So let's get into it here. The main idea for this is I wanted to be more of a point slam control deck rather than any of the engine stuff, so you kind of see that when we go through the cards. Most of our stuff's reliant on that, but it should be pretty good overall. The nice thing about not running engines is it means illusionists can't copy your engines. Unless, of course, I play Vilgeforce or something. Vilgeforce Renegade. But for the most part, illusionists taking our cards won't be very good. So that should be an advantage if we run to a soldier mirror match, or a soldier match, which wouldn't normally be the best thing for us. As far as the deck here, we do have Triss Meteor Shower. So she did get nerfed. It was not in the patch notes, but she got nerfed, I guess, in a hotfix the other day. She went up by a provision, and all my decks were no longer viable. So this really hurts. Just going to mention here, this really hurts the Relic deck, because you can't Equirax out your She Who Knows anymore if you're running Triss. So that's annoying. But she did get that one provision nerf. We're running with War Council. Like War Council, we'll see if it's a bug with the location is fixed. We've got the Artis here, and return up to a 14. This is really nice in a lot of scenarios. You return a boosted card, you know how it works. And generally you're going to draw a better card than the opponent, especially in round 2 if we've played our Jean Calvit here. If we've played him round 2, this means we're going to draw a gold card, most likely. Or if you play round 1, or you didn't draw a good card, you got this guy late, you can draw into a good card with Artis. So he's nice. Then we've got the Stefan playing Ace Up the Sleeves. We're going to spawn 4 Ace Up the Sleeves. So we can do 8 damage, which is really good removal. Answer pretty much anything. And the fact that it does it in sets of 2 is really nice as well. Really handy. And especially if you have Healthy Helga or Fire Scorpion out, when you do this, it's very potent. Those are the 2 engine cards we're running. Running Royal Decree because it's a tactic and can find our units. Running Bribery. Now this 8 provision tactic, I just needed a tactic and I had 8 provisions left. You could put like a Menno in here. You could shake out Treason, Bribery, put in like a Coded Weapons, and then use a provision somewhere else. The thing is the tactics are kind of limited. I almost wanted to run the... where is it? I almost wanted to run Glorious Hunt, but with Artis and Jean, I wasn't so sure about the Glorious Hunt, but it's an option you can run here in 8 provisions instead of the Bribery. You can catch people off guard. Then we have the Treason, like I mentioned, Hefty Helga. Treason's nice. You got the 2 experimental remedies. You could cut a remedy for Coded Weapons. You can cut, yeah, these ones, you can be whatever. You can also run a, if you want to go with Devotion by cutting the Royal Decree and the Triss. The thing is, Triss is really good. You could cut her, but you could fit in the Amnesty that way. Amnesty is quite nice as well. Then we got those, some more tactics here. The Venendal Elite, boost 1 by each tactic in the hand. I made a video on the bug with him and the War Council the other day. We'll see if that's fixed. Got the Nausicaa Sergeant, which we want to use when we lose a round. We got the Magni Divisions, are super good. You can play a tactic from your hand, draw a card. Thins with tempo, thins with control, whatever you need. You could run the Nausicaa Brigades, the ones that come out of your deck if you've lost a round, as well. They're around here somewhere. Yeah, these guys. The thing is, you could also run Blightmaker Mage Assassin. The thing is, we have we're very, very limited on the number of units we can run because we have so many tactics. So it was kind of hard. I wanted to use the new cards with the Sergeant and Magni Division. Also, Sergeant spawns a tactic, and it plays for 10, which is really good. And Magni Division is just kind of integral to the deck, and so is kind of Venendal Elite. I just couldn't find space for that stuff. But if you want to, you can. You can also go down to, like, Enslave with D5, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're going to like Stefan and everything. Then we have Attorney Joust. It's a 4 provision special. That is a tactic. Hero Diplomacy, same reason. And the 2 Fire Scorpions. So this is the deck. You can kind of see here, we want to open with some Point Slam, like the Venendal Elites, maybe play a Fire Scorpion, use some tactics here for control, and then maybe do a longer round with Triss as our finisher. We don't play a lot of units, as you may notice here. We don't have that many units, but we can use Triss offensively to damage all the opponent's units. Keep that in mind. So I think we might be doing that more often than not here. But I wanted a finisher card that wasn't Artis, just because I'm not the biggest fan of him in this deck. The reason why is you have to put in the Mage Torturers to get the spying. Treason also gives spying, by the way, but I don't want to rely just on Treason to do this. So you could run him as your finisher if you want. It's just kind of hard to fit the units in here. But it's up to you. You can certainly do it. Certainly do it. Anyway, we'll get into some games here. This is enough talking for now. Alright, so we have Earth Sign Ritual here. Should be interesting. Earth Sign Ritual. We do want removal round 1. Expert's Remedy will probably be good. But I don't think we can use it right away because this is going to banish. Let's go with this. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that we can enslave to seize the Melusine. That's very, very good because we're going second. So that gives us the tempo we need to pressure round 1 and potentially messes up his deck setup. Worth noting. It's also worth noting that we don't have a great answer to the Sigvald if we do that, other than the Ardal, because we can use Ardal to return it to the hand. So we have a couple options here. If we seize Melusine round 1 with tempo, I would like to push round 2 and get the Sigvald out that way, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, this is a good way for him to prevent us doing something like that. We could go Hefty Helga here. Let's go Fire Scorpion. I'm doing the Hefty Helga to pressure. Now, Vendel Elite only has a +1 to 3 here, so it's not that great of a tempo play anyway. It's just 8. I think we'll go with this control option. Hopefully we can do some damage here. As with the Cody Weapons, if this lives, we do 9 and kill the defender. It's pretty good. He's going to Heat Wave Hefty Helga. Interesting. Probably the right choice for him, honestly. Probably the right choice. We're going to go with a Fire Scorpion then. This is going to die also. Although he doesn't have that much. Usually there's not that much control in these decks. Maybe like Undeath Callus comes down here. Well, that's interesting. Seeing as we're playing very few units, it's not that bad. We could potentially kill it with Treason. We can kill this with Treason. It's probably a good idea. There's the Melusine. So we want to get to her. If we play the Stefan, we spawn 8 damage. That kills this, and we get Fire Scorpion charges. It's a commitment, for sure. And we lose our leader, but we're going to be on even if we do this. So I think we will try for it. And since we have an engine out, this is going to be our best value. We'll seize this. Now, this is not a really good chance, but we could potentially bribery a revive for her. That's a possibility. We also could revive. He's going to pass right here, which is smart by him, because we're going to pressure this next round. He knows it. That's what we want to do, because we don't have to deal with Sigvald then. So we don't have Heatwave or Invocation in the deck, so we don't have a good way of dealing with Sigvald other than seizing, and he's not going to let us do that. So it's probably worth to play like this. The only issue is these Sergeants are not great value yet. He played a Bronze, right? Played Cultist and... Ooh, he played a Squirrel. We can Remedy Banish. That's good. We're going to keep this hand. We're going to keep this hand. Play our Venendal Elite here. Nothing is row-locked unless we decree our Ardal. So I think we'll just play ranged. It's a nice point slam there. The risk here is that by doing this first, we lose out the opportunity of banishing his Squirrel. Looks like we're fine in that regard, though. Let's play a Magni Division here. Good time to play Assassination. Just shut down any setup he has. This is where turn I think he might be tempted to revive his defender. No, okay. This is fine. I think we'll just play our second Vendal Elite here. It's a little weaker because we went with the other one first. I wanted to make sure that his card was dead. 9's still good value. Replaying the squirrel's really nice. Like, it's actually really nice. That is an 18. That is pretty big. Take his squirrel. Say goodbye to your defender. This is going to be the card he revives, though. It's the Kusha. Artis version. I think you might run the Sigurd his right as well. There's not the Callus. This is going to do some damage. If he knocks it down to 5, we could Coded Weapons. Problem with Coded Weapons is that it spawns another one on top of his deck. I'm not the biggest fan of that. We do get to look at top 3 cards here. If we play War Council. This would kill, this would kill, this would return to hand. Let's go War Council. It's not the... it's probably safest to kill this. It's probably safest to kill this. But I want to play War Council. Do you want the carryover? He's at a 5. He's in the middle of the row, so Assassination doesn't kill it. That being said, we could go get rid of her. It's probably good enough here. We do have our Ardal still as an option. We could make sure we draw into Bribery if we play Jean Calvet here. Okay, that we deserved. We do give him another one this way, but we want to keep pressuring this round down to as few cards as possible. His save vault has no leader charges now, so it's significantly weaker. We'll play this, set up our deck. We do have a Triss, keep in mind. And we can return... Oh, it's non-doomed, right? It's non-doomed for Ardal. A non-doomed. Yes, we can't return that. We could return her, but that doesn't really do much. We get a Bribery. How much does Triss play for? 4, 6, 7, 10. She plays for 13, and we can spawn 6. So we have 19 on demand. That gets us to 32. Ardal should be good enough to play then.
The North must be destroyed.
We can go Bribery to see if we want to keep playing here. He's going to do the same thing. You can just play Bride again. We do have Triss. And Ardal gets us another 4 in that ranged row when we play her. So she's up to an 8, 10, 11, 14. It's pretty good. Alright, now this Bribery, we could high roll a Heat Wave. If we do, I think we win. There's some other good choices he could have. Let's go find out. None of these are amazing, if we're going to be honest. None of these are amazing. We don't have a Cultist in our deck. Even though our R4 version Nilfgaard Cultist, we do not have one. So I think we'll just go with Not the Callus here. He's got 7 base power, really nice on our Triss. And we'll see if we want to go for it with the Triss next turn. It will be really big. Let's just see what he wants to play. There's the right. No defender coming back. No, not the Callus either, because it got banished. There's one on top of his deck. So I'm not actually sure this is going to be anything good. I could be an Artis to trigger something, maybe. But I don't think he's going to have a great target here. Alright, we need 14. What do we have here? 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 20, 23 on the Triss deploy gets us to 56, and this gets us to 62. That's really hard to overcome. That's probably worth it.
I'll do what I can.
It gets us to 60. I must have missed something here. Do we use this leader? I want to hit this. This is good because we have armor. And the rounding favors us a lot here. This is where I got those extra 2 points from. Because we blocked 1. And this should be good enough. He needs a 16. This is probably like Sigvald or Fukusha. Even Fukusha is not really good enough. Because he has no good summons left. So we should just win here. I find it highly unlikely. Okay. I was say we find it highly unlikely here. Oh, there's an event going on. I'll have to check that out. Like I was saying, I found it highly unlikely he's a Yurden. But let's go see what this event is. I forgot to check. Alright, what do we have here? It's Precision Strike. Now this should be an interesting matchup because we both probably have heavy control. And we have some point slam. So it might be awkward to try and fit everything here, but we'll see. That last game was a perfect example of how I want the deck to play it, by the way. It's exactly how it's supposed to work. Here, I'm not so sure it'll play out that well. But this is a nice hand. Let's go with it. See what he's running. I guess if soldiers are like top tier, this makes sense for Shiru. But then again, I haven't seen that many soldiers since the first couple days. Not sure why. Usually they're pretty popular. What I have seen is Renfri. I don't know why, but I've seen Renfri soldiers twice, and then I've seen Renfri vampires still. Renfri. Renfri imprisonment. Alright, what are we just going to open with Simloss here? This is an Erendite deck then, right? Like, this is an Erendite play, opening like this. Farseer. That's not great for him. That's going to get +2 though, right? It's not the worst thing. And Commando.
This moment, I've seen it already.
Commando is a tempting target for Ardal if we get long enough in this round. But first, we'll just play this elite. Pretty good value. Kind of want to give him more Farseers. I kind of want to give him more Farseers. Then again, he's got 2 boosted cards in his hand. I think we'll just settle for Diplomacy here. Because the engine card, we're likely to get an engine card. If we do, we want to get it first. Ooh, that's awkward. This wasn't going to be great for us anyway. It's a 5. It's the best that we've got.
But there is no escape.
I'm kind of curious if this opening with the 2 harvests is kind of weird. Also, playing the deer at all is kind of... Never know. Might be okay. Okay, are we playing a Madoc? We are not. Okay, that's good to know. This can return to 14. So once this gets to 14, I think we're going to play it. Until then, though, let's go Magni Division. Let's give him our Farseer. He's got 2 boosted cards, so it's probably not a card he wants in his deck. Could give him another Simloss, but we're not memeing that hard. That's like a throw play. We don't have to Ardal if he passes, by the way. We can throw down our Yonkalate here. Pretty good. I think that'll be our next choice anyway. It applies a fair amount of board presence, and stacking our deck's always good. Unless you're playing Mill. Keep that in mind. Against Mill, not the best idea. This is back here. He's just gonna go leader. We could potentially use this deer ourselves very effectively. So we could seize it. Could seize it. But it's a low tempo seize. He's not playing Renfri, so his leader is gone. Let's play Jan here. And we'll see if we want to seize that deer. I think we might Ardle next turn. Like, Ardle, turn this. It's pretty good removal. Oh, he is playing Madoc. It's just in his hand. Do we seize Madoc? I mean, it's so tempting. It probably removes a lot of value. It's probably a good idea. This is probably a good idea. You don't get opportunities like this very often. Turn this as well. Now we have a fair bit of a lead. We do have to keep in mind there's a Herald Gorge somewhere. That's a 3-point play. We don't care. Let's play Diplomacy. Crushing Trap's really good here. 10 points. It's really nice. And I think we're far enough ahead that we can just keep playing bronzes for the rest of the round. Just keep playing bronzes, pretty much. He's playing Alzur, though, it looks like. So Alzur is a nice tempo play. We want to force that out.
As good as dead, that is.
Just keep hitting him with control. We need Artis, so we're not setting up for her this round. Squirrel doesn't affect us at all. Do we let him go down 2? This is actually a really interesting scenario. We're both out of leaders, but he has Alzur tempo play. That being said, he needs 12 here. He has played 2 of these. I don't think he played the boosted cards. Oh, he did. Squirrel was boosted. So one of these is boosted. I don't want to play these, though. So we'll let him get us 12. We'll go down 2 cards for it. I think this is good play, because I think he'll either have to Alzur or drop Herald Gorge if it's in his hand. Yeah, exactly. You can't be too greedy with these plays round 1. Alright, so Imperial Formation is a deck that I don't think we do very well against. Just because we rely a lot on damage from our tactics. That being said, we do have ways to kill off the crossbowmen, mainly with the assassination and getting up engines and stealing them. Stealing the crossbows is really risky, by the way. We're going to put this back. It's round 1 anyway, but stealing the crossbows is super risky just because if you make an engine card and they're running Illusionist, it's so scary. Should put back that Sergeant first, by the way, but I didn't see it till the end there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tactics. 10-point Venendal leads pretty good. Like, if he just opens crossbow, we'll hit it with assassination. If he opens Ramon crossbow, that's where it gets scary. We don't have locks. And he knows we don't have Heatwave or anything, so Treason's usually our big out to scary stuff. But Ramon's the problematic card. If you select Ramon crossbow, we don't have a good answer. Like, we could Stefan kill it, but I really don't want to do that. Not this early in the game. Okay, so it's Renfri Soldiers. Like I said, like I mentioned this, Renfri Soldiers is a thing, and I hate it. I've seen enough Renfri. Seen enough. Problem is, we don't have Purifies for Hefty Helga or Fire Scorpion. So that is a potential issue. It's probably worth playing this. Let's set up a melee row. Probably have to Trist this round, because he's probably going to also Trist this round. Probably both going to Trist this round, honestly. Can't kill Crossbow with Assassination now, because he'll be next to one of these. Alright, let's see how bad this is. Oh! That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's go with a diplomacy here. I don't want to make this because he can illusionist copy it, so we're not going to. This looks really tempting, but he's going to be running illusionist, so it's actually pretty poor if he has illusionist in his deck. Instead, we'll go with this.
As you command.
Okay, so he has Darlian Soldier, Fifion, and Squirrel. Interesting. Let's move this to the top. We're going to hit like this because we do have Treason in our deck. He has to kill our Hefty Helga now. Lock it. Yeah, that's what I figured was going to happen. I assumed. Let's give him another one of these. We're going to have to use some big cards this round because he's going to want that round control. Might go Fire Scorpion or Magni Division. I think that's just an assassination. We could Magni Division with the Decree to Thin. We'll draw War Council if we do, which is probably a good idea. So we're going to do that.
My boots got sand aplenty in them.
We want this round. So now's the Ramon, and there's the crossbow. The crossbow is our problem. Like I said, we don't have a great way to kill it. And we can't seize it, because we seize it, he makes copies. So we have Treason and Bribery on top of our deck. Treason's not bad. We want to pressure round 2, so I think we do play War Council. Could Bribery as well, but I think Treason's our choice. He could re-armor this, so I think we play the safe way and just kill it. It's not a great use, but I think it's the safe choice. So this one's going to come down like this. Like, it's only got the 3. We're at the spawn this battle preparation. Not great. We do have to do it. Keep in mind, he hasn't thinned his deck at all other than this Renfri's gang. So we have to Stefan or Triss here. Control's probably not something we're going to need a ton of because we have a lot of tactics. I think we'll play the Stefan.
Evolution is inevitable, merely a matter of time.
And this should be a pretty good lead. He should be low on tempo cards. His deck is so not thinned right now. That's nice. So his deck's so not thinned, we should be able to theoretically get him before he plays the Renfri. One would hope. He's running the spawns the 2 extras in his deck from the Darlian Soldier. And we did clog him 1 with the 1 card. That being said, it's kind of a risky thing to go for. But soldiers are strong long round, so I'd like to play a short round, if that makes sense. This is not great here. Okay, the problem we have is this hand's not good to push with. That was our issue. Let's just make our Bribery. Okay, let's see what he's running. He's running Sergeant, he's running Soldier, he's running Vincent. This is a problem card for this round for sure. We don't get to trigger it, but he's going to have this. Probably. That being said, he's still 14 in deck. And we can Ardle that, although it's not the best thing. What bronze do we want from his graveyard? Oh, we can just purify it. It's probably good.
My prescription, a bit of bloodletting.
This might be a mistake to pressure this round, but I don't want to play 3 rounds against the Renfri deck. I just want this game over as fast as possible. Because if he gets the Renfri, it's just too much tempo. Okay. We did get those. Annoying, but nothing we can do. Assassination's not good here. Neither is Ardle. Let's leave Assassination anyway. Should have played these range for Triss.
Stand your ground.
We're not going to be able to do this round. We're not going to be able to pressure this round. Unfortunately, this should be it for our round here. So he's going to get his cards. What we can do. This was not the most effective bleed. It just let him thin. Actually, we weren't even bleeding. We were trying to win. But how this worked out is we didn't have a great hand for it. This is the card we want to draw. Nausicaa Sergeant. Does he have one in his graveyard? That would be our best choice. He does have a lock we could go for. Or a crossbow. We don't have many soldiers. Actually, these are both soldiers. Now, we could play the crossbow. We draw Venendal Elite if we don't have this. This is better than the Elite. Problem is Renfri, as always. And we can always use this to seize from him. Like seize this potentially. Do we want to go with our lock here? We could just spawn a lock with us. It's probably a good idea. Crossbows will be a problem, but he's Ramoned and played 1, so that's not terrible. It's just annoying we have to do this all melee. That's also annoying. It's very annoying. I think we might be tempted to seize that guy. So we could seize it and then play a Nausicaa Sergeant to boost it. I like that idea. So when we seize it, it's going to go melee. It is flanking right now. I guess he's not running Illusionist, so we didn't have to be super careful. But it's always worth keeping that in mind anyway. Okay, do we want to seize that? Or this guy? I think we seize this guy. Give him 2 more armor. We're gonna draw a Venendal Elite from Ardle. I'm not sure it's actually good.
Sometimes I've had about enough.
That says lock. A Venendal Elite is actually not great here. We don't have a nice target for our Ardle, so we might just play a melee so our Triss is bigger. I think that's our plan. Because getting this is going to be worse than whatever he draws. Because if he draws any soldier, is better for him than what we draw.
You deserve to die, all, and you will.
Doesn't get like what 2 extra damage here. Nice that it hit our armor. Well, it's time to see if Artis can beat his Renfri.
I will not let this become a second.
We get an extra 4 points by doing this with Artis. He needs 24, because this is a... Well, no, he gets his +6 boost. So he actually only needs 18. He should be fine. He plays this too, so this is going to trigger. Yeah, he's going to win this.
They'll pay for my stolen birthright.
Like, this doesn't have... This any Renfri ability wins the game here, essentially. Despite the fact he didn't get to use his Afan order. Maybe he just wanted to play it to trigger this, but... Like, we're gonna... I'm assuming this hits 2 armor, he still wins with any of these. Like, this is still like 10. But we'll let him click it, just so he feels a little better. If he hurries up, at least, that is. Artis melee was the play, by the way. He gave us the best chance, just wasn't good enough chance. Because we get +4 off this from the Triss by playing it melee. Can you hurry up? Doesn't matter what you pick, just pick something. Oh my goodness, are you... Guys, don't be like that. Don't be like that. That's going in a highlight reel, by the way. Highlight videos will be coming back. Going up against Death Wish here. About that last game, there's some times when you see something that's just so bad, you can't really understand it. That last guy, I'm still in awe of his last turn. Still in awe. How's a Vendali here? 1, 2. We don't have many tactics, actually. Okay, our issue is... Well, if he defenders... what do we do? We can hit Assassination Seize. It's not good. If he defenders, if it's like Sir Scratch or something. Probably this is going to be Haunted Manor, though. We have no Heat Wave. The problem with Haunted Manor is the Damsel Lady can kill our Hefty Helga pretty easily. And if he has stuff like Rot Fiend or whatever, that's not that bad. I think we just play a Fire Scorpion. Stuff like Maruna, stuff like Rot Fiend kills us, which is annoying, so we gotta be a little careful. Especially with Maruna. Imperial Manticore, too. Like, all these cards are gonna be potential cards for his deck, and they're all annoying. Although he is running the Cursed Scroll, which makes you think Haunted Manor, some type or Sir Scratch. As opposed to the just, what's it called? It's not Earner Shadows, which means that those other Death Wish cards are less scary. But he still has them, and he can always lead her. Carantier, okay. Is this gonna be like a Manticore or something? It's a Cave Troll. This is some kind of irritating Witch's Sabbath deck.
I never miss.
Very irritating. There's the other one. We could Helga. We could second Fire Scorpion. Helga I like instead. Just because of Witch's Sabbath, she's good to get back. Okay, it's the triple this deck. Fantastic. So, we need to stop this from happening. And I'm pretty sure, actually, we have enough control with the Stefan here. So this is going to be a lesson in how good Stefan is. Check this out. We're going to play him here.
Revolution is inevitable, only a matter of time.
And we'll go do some damage here. We're going to get Hefty Helga charges. This might be a very, very fast game. As in, I'm pretty sure this guy's about to quit. And we're going to have a very anticlimactic thing here. Keep in mind, though, he does have Witch's Sabbath. He does have Witch's Sabbath. We don't need these charges, so we'll hold them. Witch's Sabbath is really good. He still gets back 2 Cave Trolls and a Bloody Mistress. But I think this is a 2-0 deck.
Living souls in your reach. Dangerous.
Versus a 2-0 deck. Let's go with War Council. Let's see if they fix the bug with it yet. And what do we want to play? Let's see if a bronze. Oh, if he had a squirrel, this would be pretty. Actually, if he does have a squirrel, we want to keep this in case of that. I think this Vendoli plays for 1, 2, 3. It plays for 8. I'll just play that guy. We could have gone with the thinning. Okay, so they fixed it, and now it applies correctly. That's nice. I'm pretty sure if he had a Maruna, he would have used it. Otherwise, leaving these two with the charges is super risky. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have one. Otherwise, he would have used it. Because otherwise, if you don't use it, you're just setting this up to die. Okay, actually, we should play Magni Division, because it means Hefty Helga might not come back. That's annoying. But we're pushing on even. We do have a seize from our leader still. Probably should have Magni Division. But then I'm not sure about Diplomacy, because I didn't really want to play Diplomacy. I'm not sure why I didn't want to play Diplomacy. Artifact Compression. He's going to lock our 5 charges. Sure, whatever. Let's just go with a... Oh, we haven't played you yet, actually.
I forgive you. This time.
Setting up for round 2 push, because we're going to definitely want to play this round 2. Because we want to force out Witch's Sabbath. Problem is we don't have a banish for the Witch's Sabbath itself. He will have to be able to purify all the cards he brings back with the Witch's Sabbath, though. So I'm not sure he can do that. 2 Diplomacies, we've Bribery. We do want Treason. Treason would be pretty good here, depending on the order in which his cards return to the field. So we want Treason. I don't think we want to draw into a Venendal Elite or anything, so I think we'll go with this. With a Nausicaa Sergeants next round. Open with a Fire Scorpion. We're going to play this range, so we should play all of our stuff range. We don't want to play into Manticore or something, so we're not going to boost this. It's the Witch's Sabbath. There it is. Now, we're going to be in trouble if he has a way to purify all of his cards. I really wish if I saw that there's a second charge of Ownermancy or not. It was the doomed one. So he can't Ownermancy the Witch's Sabbath from his deck if he Alyssa's. He could Tome it. He's running Tome. The reason I'm thinking here is if we pass, he needs to Purify. We could Treason. Oh, this Treason's really good. It means this doesn't come back anymore. Yeah. We're definitely doing this. That's gone. It's gone forever. It means his engine's value's gone. Oh, not sure why I almost overlooked that. Also, Bribery is good. Because he probably is running a Squirrel or a Xavier.
This become a second Sidon.
And if he's not, we can find out what he is running. So he's running Alyssa. He's running Caranthir. We do not have a good Caranthir target. This isn't organic. We have no organic, so I guess it's Alyssa.
Death would be a mercy you do not deserve.
Wouldn't mind another Bribery. Let's see what he added to his hand. He needs something else. Okay, so he's going to try and use the... what's it called? I can't think for a second here. He's going to try and use... What's it called? The Arrakis Queen on the Witch Apprentice instead of the Bloody Mistress. Which is annoying. We might play Magni Division for our unit here. Yeah, Magni Division is like the unit of choice here. So we get off this diplomacy. Frost is actually, for 4 turns, it's not bad. And the reason why it's not bad, I think we'll use this now, by the way. The reason Frost isn't bad is it will keep these down, so the Sabbath is less likely. He still has to Arrakis Queen. Can we return this to his hand? He's so close to letting us return this to his hand, but we can't. Unlucky. He's being really greedy with this. Because if this was if we could do 1 more damage here, we could seize and then play the Ardal and get this back to his hand. To be fair, though, it would still have his Death Wish. So we'll just go here. Do have Purify. Purify doesn't cut it. So I think we'll just play our own Witch Apprentice here. And that should be pretty decent. Remember, he has not Alyssa. So we can't return a doomed card. Can't return a doomed card. Might just go round 3. I think just going round 3 is the answer. I think this is the answer. We have Ardal, which is a good play if he's playing Death Wish stuff. And we have Triss, which is nice. And we still have Leader, so we could mess up what he's doing. He has not Alyssa, so he's going to have to play Alyssa, draw Witch's Sabbath. But all of his good cards got banished. He's no Leader. And if he brings this back, we can seize it. So I don't think he has any options. And he still has to draw it if he shuffles it back in. It's like a, what is that, like 50%? He still has to play Alyssa. Yeah, there's Alyssa.
By Clara Larissa de Winter herself.
He still has to draw Witch's Sabbath and put him at a card disadvantage. And no Defender anymore, because we got rid of all those. So he brings back Arrakis Queen, and then we just seize it. And that's really good. We can play another one of his cards with this. We've got removal here. Coded Weapons versus Assassination. It's the typical debate here. I like the Coded Weapons a little better in this case. Magni Division is good, so we'll keep it. Keep it. You've played once. We should get into... Well, hopefully we get the Nausicaa Sergeants over the Vendal Elite here. There's Sir Scratch-a-Lot. There is Sir Scratch-a-Lot. He still has a Crochet, probably. That is the card we wanted to see. Make one of these guys. We have our C's, so we can't use Sir Scratch's order. Okay, he's going to use the order. I mean, that is one of the best targets we're going to get for Ardal. Although, to be fair, it's probably just better to hit it down to 6 and seize it this way. Even though I really wanted to Ardal that, this is probably better. And he really doesn't have any options. GG. Alright, so there were some games there. What do you think about... Well, yeah, you guys tell me what you think about the deck, but also, what do I think about the deck? Now, I quite like this one. It has some... There's one sort of conflicting thing in it I'll talk about later. But I want to start off by saying it has some very good potential. Against engine decks, against decks that really need certain cards to stick, you have a lot of tools to make sure it doesn't happen. And if that doesn't happen and they want it to happen, that's generally a good thing. Now, as far as the one thing I want to mention here, it has to do with the Nausicaa Sergeants. obviously these cards are very good. If your opponent won a round, spawn and play Battle Preparation. It gives you a tactic, which synergizes with like Fire Scorpion and Hefty Helga. It plays for 10 with 2 armor, which is very good. 10 for 5 is really, really good. The issue comes not from the actual card itself, it's how the deck runs. In a lot of these games, you'll probably notice here that we went with a sort of 2-round push approach. Like a round 2 we pushed because we played John Kilwaite and we had a whole bunch of our gold cards in our hand round 2. So a lot of times we push with our round 2 hand. That's the Nausicaa Sergeant doesn't work for that playstyle very well. If you're gonna, you don't want it in your hand round 2 then, right? Because you go round 2 and you have this in your hand, it plays for 4. It's not great if you won round 1. That being said, it's a really nice card to have in your deck at the end of in round 3 if your round 2 push fails. So if you play like Jan Kilwaite and then you've stacked your deck, you play all your gold cards, you bleed out round 2, then you have these guys left over round 3. Now we're talking, because that's a really good bronze to have round 3. So it just depends how you play. It is handy to have it round 3. We just didn't get to see that in any of our games, I don't think. We might have played it once or twice. But this is really, if you're going to go for a round 2 push with the Jan Walgate cards here, it's not the best card to have in your hand, but it is a good card to have your deck for round 3. So it's up to you. I think it's definitely worth including. I just want to point out that it's not something that plays well with round 2 push if you have it in your hand. If you don't have it in your hand, it's in your deck, that's great. It's a fantastic card to draw later in the game, like round 3, if you've been pushing. So, it appears War Council's bug has been fixed, which is really nice. And as far as the rest of the deck, I think you saw a pretty good range of it here. We should have lost one game. We should have lost that game. I'm actually mad that guy lost. I'm mad we won, because that was embarrassing. I'm sorry, whoever you were. I don't want to hate on you, but, I mean, it's not like you lost connection or something. You just didn't play a card or click an order. But other than that, we should have won all the games except that one. And the deck did quite well. You saw us play against soldiers, I believe. That was that deck, so that was an awkward one. And you can see how it does. You get rid of the opponent's threats, and then you have point slam options. So obviously the point slam options, Vendel Elite round 1, and then you've got the Nausicaa Sergeant round 2 or 3, depending on which round you've lost. And you have a couple engines, Scorpion and Hefty Helga. I wish there were more point slam options here, but there's very few unit slots in the deck, right? Which is the one issue I've always had with Enslave. Like the one I don't want to say I dislike Enslave. I think it's a cool leader ability, and I like it being in the game. It's just incredibly limiting to your deck building, which is why I usually don't play it. Right, because you're gonna want to have the Enslave 6, because a lot of cards have been buffed to the point where their 6 is the number for a big gold engine you want to deal with, and you really want Enslave 6, and you really want that fourth ace up the sleeve with Stefan. You really want those. So you kind of have to play the 12 tactics, and it just limits your deck building so much. No Heat Wave, no Invocation. You have to only run 13 units, and a lot of the tactics are bronzes, which means that you're kind of squeezing in units where you want them. All right. Ardal, by the way, really solid, I think. It's just we didn't have a great opportunity to show him off here. But yeah, this is just really... I think the deck's good. I think it's good. I just dislike playing Enslave sometimes. I can't play all the time. I just get annoyed at the deck building choices because you're so limited to what you could put in the deck because you need the tactics. It's still good. I think the deck's good. It performed pretty well for us here. It performed well for me when I was practicing too. Just the only thing to mention here that to change are obviously there's a plenty of options. If you don't think you need Jan Kelwit here, I would play him. You're playing tactics. There's no reason not to play him. It's a pretty good tempo play. Triss is the one card you could argue against here. You're like, why are you running Triss? You only have 13 units. Well, it's because Triss is really good. And even if you only have 13 units, there's always offensive Triss with the melee damage. So keep that in mind. It's always an option. So I still think she's good. As far as the rest of the deck, if you want to make changes, there are options. Damien's always fun with Enslave. Just don't have Fifion, which is a card I wanted to talk about, and I almost forgot to. So he spawns a battle preparation, which is usually really good for the deck. You get a defender, you get a tactic card on a unit, which is nice. And the reason I'm not running the Fifion is because I ran out of space for units, right? I was like, I need Hefty Helga Fire Scorpions for the engine cards. And then I want to run Magni Division, Sergeant, and Vendel Elite, because these two are Point Slam cards, and I want to run Division because it's thinning our deck. You don't need Magni Division, by the way, I don't think, if you're going to run Jan Kelwait, which I'll talk about in a minute here. But as far as the rest of the unit slots, right, then you've got Jan I want to run, Stefan you definitely want to run, Ardal you can cut Ardal, but I want to test him because he got his buff, and then Triss. So there's just not many unit slots, which is one thing I don't like, which is the only reason he's not in here. I think, by the way, to get more units, I'll tell you right now, which I mentioned earlier, is the Magni Divisions. So while Magni Divisions are really good, they play a tactic while thinning. Thinning's less important if you have Jan Kelwait in your deck. And the reason why is because you're always going to get him by round, round 3? Say he shuffles to the bottom of your deck and he moves up 12. You're going to draw him, like round 2, very first thing. I might have done that math wrong. It goes up 12, you have 10 in hand. This is the start of the game, right? Start of game, I think, is before your draw. Yeah, you should always see him round 1. So, like, you don't need the Magni Divisions. So, you could cut these, and I think that would be a good idea. And the reason that's really nice is you can put in the Fifion with the, what's his name? I just said it. Damien. Where's Damien? You could run them. Damien's kind of awkward without the movement, without like a movement, because you get movement locked. It's also awkward without the defender, just because he's going to get answered. So I'm not the biggest fan, but you could slot him in here instead of Ardal, potentially. You could slot him in here instead of maybe Triss. If you like the Damien better for a second Enslave charge. It's up to you. They're both good options. And the Fifion, I think you'd put in here as well. So I don't think if you want to make room for more units, I think you cut the Magni Divisions, which is an option. I think that's probably a good option. I just want to test them out in here. And they're nice for like a unit on the board. As far as the tactics, by the way, looking at what we've got, there are options, right? You could run another tourney joust. I just have the one. Like, we didn't rely heavily on soldiers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I didn't even realize that. We have 6 soldiers right here. Maybe battle preparation's worth it then. Battle preparation might be worth it. I think you cut one of the other tactics, put this in. I didn't realize there were 6 soldiers. Yeah, you can do that. That's not bad. Amnesty, we're not in Devotion. You could make this deck Devotion if you cut Meteor Shower and Decree. Decree is super good, but again, if you're running Jan Kelwait, I don't think you need the Decree. I just like having access to it. You probably don't really need it, though. It's up to you. It's up to you. But Amnesty is a good option if you're going to go with the Devotion approach. Surrender, if you think soldiers are super popular, it strips the armor and does 2 damage. That's nice. And you want to run Mono as an option for a unit, you can. I just think that you don't really need to, because we don't have a key tactic. I think War Council is really good for a tactic, but you don't need a key tactic. I guess not we're playing a deck where we have to play, say, we have to Bribery round 1, for example. You don't need to, but Mono's a good option. And like I said, you can always Glorious Hunt and stuff like that. So there's options with the deck. You can also do the coup stuff, but again, I think I mentioned this in one of the games, but I'll put it in here in case someone skipped over the games. You can go with the Mage Torturers, 2 Mage Torturers, and with the Artis finisher. If you want to cut Triss and then cut Magni Divisions, you can do that. That's probably a good option, actually. I might try that. But that is another option you can do. It's always up to you guys. There's a lot of choices here. I did enjoy the deck, and I think it actually works pretty well now. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.